Alright, let's see if there's any sound. Hopefully there'll be some sound this time. Let's see, is there any sound? Alright, okay, finally fixed the audio problems. Oh god, what a nightmare. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so officially live from now on, so what a nightmare. Anyway, welcome to FPL First Live for part 2 after my failed first attempt with the audio. I've got a comments box right in front of me, so obviously I would like to see any of your comments as the stream goes on, and I will be picking my potential team for Wildcard. And so I thought what I'll start with doing is by looking at my current team. I have got Alisson in goal, which I think is probably not a very good choice considering they have Chelsea next game. If we look at the fixtures for Liverpool as well, they've got Chelsea away, Man City at home, and you can't guarantee that they're going to get a clean sheet in those games. I mean, to be fair to Liverpool, they are the team to beat this season. They are undefeated, but I have a feeling that their luck's going to change soon. And with Chelsea and Man City to come, then I think that Alisson's probably not going to get the kind of clean sheets he's been getting recently. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take him out. Also, you've got to look at game week 11, and you've got Arsenal as well against Liverpool. So I would say that, yeah, it's definitely something that you need to consider. So I think that I'm going to be changing Alisson out of my team. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be putting in yet, but I definitely will be taking him out. I think I might go for a sort of small cost keeper and do a rotation, because so far this season the more expensive keepers haven't been doing so good. It has been the kind of lower form keepers that are doing much better. So I think I'm going to go for that. Next, if we look at my rest of my team, I think I've got to keep Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka has been a bit of a revolution this season. If you look at his overall points for 28, 2 clean sheets and bonus points in the last 2 games against Huddersfield and Newcastle. Granted, they're 2 easy teams, but I think that he's definitely got to be a team to consider putting into your team, at least for the next 3 game weeks, and then, you know, a player that you probably bench or look at taking out, because from game week 10 to 13, that's 4 top 6 teams that they've got to be faced, and that's probably where you start to see Crystal Palace's season start to take a bit of a tumble. Not completely sure if I'll get rid of him. I think he's still worth keeping considering his price, and I think that he will do well in the next 3 games. Maybe Everton away would be a difficult challenge, but definitely Bournemouth away and Wolves at home, he might get an assist or might get something decent out of those games. So I'm going to persist with him, I think, and keep him in my team. If we look at Alonso, I think even though they have, you know, Chelsea have got Liverpool, Man United in the next 3 games, you just got to look outside of those games when you've got Southampton, you've got Burnley, Crystal Palace, Everton, Fulham. They're all very easy games, which I think that Alonso has a good chance of getting a lot of points. So I don't think that getting rid of Alonso would be the greatest idea. But, I mean, who knows? I'm going to take a look at other defenders' possibilities. I have got Mendy as well on my team, which I think I need to get rid of because he is injured. And I think I need to maybe bring in someone like Trippier, was recommended online. So I might do that. Holebas, I think his good fortune in the league, you know, 35 points is a really good return. But I think that's now finished. I think that, you know, if we look at their run of games, I don't know. Arsenal away, I can't see Watford doing very much against that. I can't see Holebas getting many points. But Bournemouth at home, yeah, I mean, Bournemouth's a weird one. They've been playing really well this season and get thrashed at the weekend by Burnley. So kind of a bit of an unknown. It's hard to tell whether, you know, it's a difficult one. But I think Holebas, there are better options. I think someone recommended Will Hughes in one of the comments, so he could be an option I'd later consider. we look at the rest of my team, I've obviously got Mendy, who is injured, and an unknown return date, which is not looking very good, so I definitely need to get him out of my team ASAP, which is a shame because he was doing so well at the start of the season, really high performer, but missed out on points on the last 2 games, and considering his price, it's just it's holding me back a little bit, so I need to get him out of my team. And then I've got Bennett also in my defence. That was just kind of making up the numbers, to be honest, because of his price tag of 4.1. He's done not too bad in the last 3 game weeks. Sort of, you can't ask that much more from a player that's only worth 4.1. So pretty happy with that return. But I think it's time to get a new defender in instead of him. And let's have a look at. Yeah, so now going into my midfield, Mkhitaryan, I think I need to get rid of him. He's kind of lost his place now that Lacazette is starting every game alongside Aubameyang. So yeah, I think it's a shame. He started the season. He did really well against Chelsea. He was getting game time, and yeah, now if you look, 90 minutes, 1, 21, 0. So he's clearly, I wouldn't say he's lost face with Emery, I'd just say that Lacazette has taken his opportunity when he's come in the team, so that's obviously been good for him. Okay, so this is the biggest debate. Salah. Do I keep Salah, or do I replace him with Mane, or do I replace him with someone else? Because of his price, obviously, you'll be able to put a lot more players in, and he's gone down by 0.1 million, which is a bit of a worry. I don't know, like, if we look at his stats, though, to be fair, like, in the last game, he got 8 points, he got a goal, and kept a clean sheet, so he got some points for that. He's obviously not getting anywhere near last year's sort of points, but if we look at the fixtures as well, is not looking that great, with Chelsea and Man City, like I previously said, and Arsenal. I don't know, I'm tired. Do I take Salah out of my team, or do I put him in? I'm not 100% sure yet. I just feel like once that run of games is out of the way, you've got Huddersfield and Cardiff, and you're guaranteed he's going to get at least a goal or a few assists in those 2 games. Yes, Arsenal away, Philly. Arsenal away is a tough fixture, but actually, to be fair, I think that the games between Arsenal and Liverpool in the last kind of couple of seasons have been crazy. I think it's the 2nd most highest scoring fixture in the EPL, behind Arsenal and Everton. So you've got to expect that there's going to be a lot of goals and a lot of chances, and I think that if there's going to be one player that you want in Liverpool in your team, it's probably going to be Salah, because he's, yeah, I think I saw a comment saying that he's now getting played down the middle rather than being put on the wing, which is obviously very beneficial to him. He's so dangerous one-on-one against players near the box. So, and if you look at the underlying stats of Salah, he isn't doing that bad whatsoever. So yeah, I think I might keep him in my team. And you never know, he might do really well against Chelsea and Man City. He might get a good amount of points, and then you're just waiting for Fulham, Watford, Everton, Burnley, Bournemouth. They're all good fixtures for Liverpool to get good points. I know they've got difficult Champions League games in between, but I think that they'll, you know, he's still going to be getting played a lot for that. So yeah, I think I might keep him. I'm not 100% sure yet. David Silva. What do I do with David Silva? I think the problem with having a player with David Silva in your team is that you don't ever know if he's going to start. Like the last game, nothing wrong with him. There's no like injuries, there's no suspensions, and he just didn't start. This is a problem, and I think that I might need to get a player in that I know is going to play. Maybe someone like Richarlison or someone like Maddison, who I know is going to get me points. So I definitely need to look into that. Neves as well. Yeah, I only put him in my team from the start of the season because his price tag was 5. It's gone up by 2, so I will get 0.1 when I transfer him out. Is he worth keeping in my team? I'm not sure. I think there might be better players out there. Someone like Fraser, even though he failed at the weekend. And if you saw my last video, you would have saw that I pointed that out, the fact that he failed. But I think that yeah, overall, I think someone like Fraser is probably a better choice than Neves in my team. Hazard, got to keep him. He's the on-form player. He's the one that everyone's been putting in their team recently. His price has gone up by 0.2 million in the last couple of game weeks with 50 points. I'm pretty sure that puts him top of the points tally in terms of a midfielder. Let's have a look at. Yeah, there you go. So he's top in the midfield and for the points tally. So if we look at this, for example, like I'm kind of torn between do I have Mane or Salah in my team? But actually, now that I've just looked at this, there's only a small amount of difference in the points. There's only 7 points difference, and all it takes is one good game for Salah and Mane to not score any points again. And let's have a look at Mane's stats. He's only got 5 points in the last 2 games. He had some great games in the start, but Yeah, I don't know. I think that that's swaying me to keep Salah. I'm 100% sure. God, I don't know what to do. But anyway, so if we look at this team, this is pretty much where I'm going to go. I think that Hennessy is probably going to be a keeper that I've got to go for. And Holebas I think I've got to take out. I think his time is gone. If we look back at my team and look at my strikers, I've got Camara because he's cheap, just making up the numbers. To be honest, I don't ever intend to have him starting. And he doesn't really start for Fulham, and I don't think he will start anytime soon, considering Mitrovic is doing so well for Fulham, which has been a real surprise this season. And let's have a look. Aguero, he's the best striker in the league by far, and I think that you can't really not have him in your team. There is a call for Lacazette now being in your team, and I'm going to try and maybe find a space for Lacazette in my team if I can find enough money for him, because Lacazette is starting to prove that pretty big cost that he had when he first came to Arsenal. A lot of fans doubted him after last season, but you know, Umare's come in, giving him confidence now that he's getting starting game time, and he's playing him actually in his position, where he wants to play. And, you know, Aubameyang is actually the player that's being kind of put on the wing, so if you're going to pick out Aubameyang and Lacazette, for me right now personally, I would pick Lacazette, because I think that he's got more potential to be in the box for the crosses. He's got more potential to be doing one-on-ones for assists and stuff like that near the box. I know that Aubameyang is scoring as well, but a lot of his goals are coming like kind of Thierry Henry. He's coming from the wing and coming in and scoring. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get rid of Joselu. I put him in kind of just as a cheaper option, hoping that he'd pick up a couple of points for Newcastle, but it's not really happened for him. So yeah, I need to get him in. So if we go to transfers and we start having a look at the kind of team that I can start to prepare. So obviously, guys, if you are watching and you have any recommendations as I'm doing this, I have got a tablet to the side of me with all your messages on it, so I will be looking at those, and I will obviously, if there's a good suggestion or something like that, then please obviously put it in the comments. And yeah, let's begin on doing my wildcard. This is it, guys. I'm pretty excited for doing this. So let's have a look at what I've got. So yep, I can see all the messages. All right, so let's begin with keepers. So I think Alisson has to come out. He's too expensive a keeper, and he's just not getting the points. And I think, yeah, I think that it's got to be, if we look at Crystal Palace's run of fixtures, I think that they've got... so this is the kind of thing. So the next 3 games, you would put Hennessy in thinking that he's going to get quite a lot of points, but then you've obviously got Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs and Man United to contend with. So that's where I feel like I'm going to have to do like a rotation system. So if we put Hennessy in as my main keeper for now, let's have a look at the other keepers. I'm a bit wary to put Etheridge in my team because he got a lot of those points from penalty saves, and I don't think that he's going to get that many opportunities to save penalties. So yeah, I'm a bit uneasy to put him in. Let's have a look at Burnley. That's a bit of a too easy. No, not easy games, but considering they won the last game, they have a bit of confidence. Do I put Hart in? Let's see. Let's put Hart in for now as my backup keeper, and like I said, I will be doing like a rotation, and we'll see how that comes out at the end in terms of price. So I need to get Mendy out, I need to get Holebas out, get Bennett out, so that I'm going to be leaving just Wan-Bissaka and Alonso in my team. I want to take Neves out, Mkhitaryan out, get David Silva out, sorry. So that leaves me with Hazard and Salah in my midfield, get Joselu out, get Camara out. So I'm looking to make, well, that's for, I'm looking to make, wow, 8 changes in total. Well, 10 if you include the 2 keepers I've just done there. So let's begin on that. So I think that a player that needs to come into my team is Robertson. Having said that, with Liverpool's run of fixtures coming up, I'm not... I don't know, what do I do? Well, let's... One second, let's find just all of the defenders. I think Trippier could be a good call. Let's see Tottenham's run of games, see how they're lining up. Tottenham have got Huddersfield, Cardiff, West Ham in the next 3 games, and then they've got Man City at home. And although that will be... Even though it says, you know, that the fixture difficulty rating is 5, I think that they can do well at home, Tottenham. I think they can beat anyone on their day against in Wembley. So I presume. Wait, yeah, I don't know, but wait, aren't they playing this game in a different stadium? I'm pretty sure that they had to change. Anyway, So let me put Trippier in for now as a defender because they have got 3 easy fixtures coming next. Who would be another player? I think someone suggested as a cheap option. It was a player. I think it was this guy Doherty. He did really well against Burnley. He got an assist. It was a really nice assist actually, that goal. Only got 2 points in the last game though, but overall 22 points. And considering his price of 4.4, he could be a good option in the team. Let's have a look at what else I've got here. What do I do? Let's have a look. So we've got fixtures of Southampton, Crystal Palace, Watford, Brighton. So 4 easy fixtures coming up for Wolves actually. Then Spurs and Arsenal after that. If we look at his history, what's he getting? He's only got 1 assist so far this season, 2 clean sheets, conceding 6 goals. He did pick up 3 bonus points though in the last game, which is quite surprising. So, oh no, 3 bonus points in total. Sorry, he got that against Burnley when he did get that assist. Just for the price, I'm going to put him in because I have got a lot of expensive players that I want. And let's put him in. So that's going to be Doherty at player. All right. So Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, and Man United. So that would be a bit of a stupid. Okay, I'm going to put Robertson in. I think that Robertson's a must for most Premier League teams. This season of the FPL, it's kind of been a season for defenders. They've been the one that are getting the most points. And I mean, if you would have, outside of Hazard, if you'd have put Alonso as your captain, you would have been doing really, really well this season. So there is an argument to be made that you put your defender as a captain. I've always been against doing a defender as a captain because you don't want to, risk the fact that their main scoring is from clean sheets. But Alonso, because of his attacking threat this season, as well as his defense and his clean sheets, he's actually been. There's a shout for him being your captain. So anyway, so let's have a look at what we've got here. So I've got 28.7 mil left, and I've got. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it would be the case of where I'd be having to swap Doherty and Wan-Bissaka out, considering the fixtures they've got. I might obviously have to, it would be a risk putting a couple of putting Robertson in because of his fixtures coming up with Chelsea, Man City in the next 2 games. I might have to bench him, but I don't know. This is something I can deal with later. But I think I'm pretty happy with this defence and keeper partnership. I think that's what I want to go with. So if we go to midfielders, and we'll have a look to see what we've got in the midfield. So, Salah or Mane? Salah or Mane? Who do I go for? I think one player I definitely want to put in is Maddison. If you look at Leicester's fixtures in the next games, they've got Newcastle away, Everton at home, Arsenal away, granted will be difficult, but then after that you've got West Ham, Cardiff, Burnley, Brighton, Watford, Fulham. You haven't got a top 6 team from game week 10 all the way to game 15, which looks very, very promising. And consider that Maddison is having the flipping season of his life, and he's not going to lose anything if they concede in terms of that many points. So yeah, I'm going to put Maddison in. I think I'm pretty set on doing that, but that gives me a bit of a headache in terms of cost with 21.9 in the bank. So let's have a look at who else we can put in. Everyone is putting in Fraser. I'm not sure. Let me go first to a player that I do want. I do want Richarlison in my team. Luckily, his cost is quite low right now because he did get a red card and lots of people taking him out of his team. But after watching him on the weekend against Arsenal, I know he only got 2 points, but actually Richarlison played really well. He was unlucky to not get a goal himself, and he's always in the thick of all the action. And I think he's a great player. He's definitely going to be a really important player for Everton in the future. Currently, 18.5% teams have selected Richarlison. Yes, his form is rubbish right now, but he was obviously suspended for those games against Huddersfield, West Ham. Yeah, I'm going to put him in my team for now. I just think that he's such a good goal threat. So I didn't see his fixtures. Fulham at home, Leicester away, Crystal Palace at home. Next 3 games, that looks pretty good in my opinion. You've also got Man United away, Brighton at home, Chelsea away. So in between those, it's a bit of a mixed one for Richarlison, but again, that's something that you can rotate with, so that's not a big problem in my opinion. Okay, so let's I'm going to do my forwards now because I want to leave 2 players because there might be a case of having to just put players in to make up numbers because of cost. So let's go to forwards. Now, in another video that I released, I did a comparison between Mitrovic, Giroud, and I think it was also Wilson of Bournemouth. And actually, Mitrovic is sort of overall stats looked really, really good. I was recommending Giroud as a player to watch, but it didn't really happen for him in the weekend. So yeah, I think if we look at Mitrovic and his fixtures, Everton away, Arsenal at home, Cardiff, Bournemouth, and Huddersfield. So they've got 2 promoted teams in the next 5 fixtures. Arsenal away will be difficult, obviously. Having said that, Arsenal are leaking goals all the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal conceded to Mitrovic. They don't like a kind of player like him. He's a bit of a kind of bully, if you want. He's a powerful player, so yeah, I think Mitrovic needs to go on my team. I think I'm pretty certain that he's going to get points in the future. Now this is where the headache starts because that's me 8.3 in the bank. Neves and Camara obviously coming out of my team, so that's leaving me what, 4 for one player and then 4.3 for another player. I don't even think that's possible. If I leave Camara out, that would obviously give me 3.9. That's not even possible, which is which is a problem. So that means I need to. This is why I was thinking about taking Salah out and put Mane in instead, because if I did that, for example, then I can think about maybe putting Lacazette in the team as a striker. Let's just test this. Let's see how this goes. Right, we'll go to midfielders. There's a cool. I don't know about Lucas Moura. Will he be starting that much now that Son's come back from the Asian game? That's a problem as well that I need to think of. Sterling's too expensive. Bernardo Silva, he's a cool, but I'm still worried about the starting time. I don't think it's just such a worry. He doesn't start often. So if we look, let's have a look at his playing time. Well, having said that, 1990, 61, 32, 1990. He is starting a lot of games, actually, to be fair to him. So he could be a call instead of Salah. With 30 points, let's put him in my team, because this could overall give me a better balance than if I put Fraser in. What would that leave me? That would be leaving me 3.4. Take out Camara, 7.8. Okay, let's go back to the strikers and let's see Lacazette. And let's see his fixtures coming up. Damn, Arsenal's fixtures: Watford, Fulham, Leicester, Crystal Palace. That is a really nice fixture list for Arsenal. Damn, what? That could be a really... Let me know in the comments below, please. Let me know, who would you go for? Would you go for Mitrovic? Would you go for Lacazette? I like Lukaku and Kane. Obviously, they're going to get points, but for the price tags, just can't justify them going into my team. Firmino, is his points, are they going to come in the next couple of games? Probably not, because they've got hard fixtures in Chelsea, Man City. He's also, yeah, last game he didn't get any points. Last game was a much more for midfielders than the Liverpool team. There was a lot more goals. Matic scored as well from defence, being the top scorer this season, so that was pretty good for them. Yeah, so if you let me know, whoever's watching, let me know in the comments. Would you go for Lacazette? Would you go for Mitrovic? Would you go for Wilson? Or would you go for King? I mean, if we look at Bournemouth's next fixtures, they've got Crystal Palace, Watford, Southampton, Fulham. There's a shout to put Wilson or King in your team instead. Let me see, right? Let me take Mitrovic out. Let's put Lacazette in. What would that leave me? That would leave me 5.4 for a striker. Let's see what striker is for 5.4. If I had 5.4, oh, just miss out on Jimenez from Wolves. Is there only 5.4? So let's have a look. No. We've got 5.9. It's only 5. We got Long. He could be a good call. Let's go up to 5.4. Calvert-Lewin. He played well against Arsenal the other day, Calvert-Lewin, but it just doesn't seem to really finish them. He's not getting much success in front of the goal, and I don't know. Let's have a look. I don't know if that... I don't know, like I've already had Joselu in my team, just as making up numbers, and he didn't really do anything for me, but for a price tag of 5, that would leave me with 0.4 million to work with. Damn, I'm still not convinced though. I don't really want to put Joselu in. Let's go up a little bit. Who could I possibly put? Ings would be a good shout. 5.7, if I could try and find a way of getting him in my team. Let's see Southampton's fixtures in the next couple of weeks. Got Wolves away, Chelsea at home, Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home, and Man City away, and Watford. They're kind of all over the place. I haven't really got a good spell of easy teams coming. See its history. Ings, he's got 3 goals this season, no assists. He's got 4 bonus points. He's a good shout in your team. Having said that, Aniacho could be a good shout as well, considering Leicester's fixtures. Look at Leicester's fixtures, man. He could be a good shout. Newcastle, Everton, Arsenal, West Ham, Cardiff. Wow. Now is the time to get Leicester players in your team, because with that fixture list, there is a really good opportunity to get a load of points. Right, if I put Iniacho in, what does that give me? -5. Alright, so where would I make a -5 deduction in my team? Let's see, have a look. So maybe it would be in a maybe I could get 5 from a keeper area. Let's have a look at the keepers again. Although I think keeping Hart in the team would be good, right? Is there any 4s that are worth putting in? No, the problem with that is I don't want to have a 4 that isn't actually playing, because then the problem is that you can't do any rotation on teams, so that wouldn't be a good idea. Okay, let's have a look at defenders. The problem is Wan-Bissaka at 4.1 is the cheapest you're going to get, especially considering his return. Doherty at 4.4 as well is a nice option. There isn't really anyone else that's cheaper. Bennett, going back to Bennett, that is. The problem is someone made a good comment in fact that Bennett he's a central defence centre back, and he's not got much of an attacking threat. Most of his is coming from clean sheets. Most of his points. Look at Wolves fixtures. Having said that, I've got 4 easy fixtures coming up, but that would still leave me 4 that I would need to make up in terms of the rest of the team. So that's another dilemma as well. So let's have a look. I think I'm pretty set on midfield in terms of Maddison, Hazard and Richarlison. I don't want to change that. The only reason I've got Bernardo Silva in there is because I just feel like you need to have a Man City player in your team. Let's go on to midfielders again and see if there's any players that I can make some. What's he worth? He's worth 7.5, isn't he? So let's see, 7.4. Let's see. So how can I make? I still need to get rid of 5 if I was to make that choice. So you have the options of anyone that's below 7. So I mean, here the options would be Pedro would be a good shout, but he's obviously injured. Not 100% sure when he'll be back in the team. What's he got? Shoulder injury, 75% chance of playing. So that's obviously a bit of a risk. Let me see. Who else could be in? Actually, I heard someone recommend Moutinho in the midfield. That could be a good shout, Moutinho in the midfield. Especially with the run of fixtures I think Wolves have got. Yeah, they've got a pretty nice run of fixtures coming up. But the problem is I'm looking for someone a bit more long-term, I think, if I was to get rid of Bernardo. I think he'd be a long-term player. Let's have a look. I need someone below 7. Oh, who would I don't know. Who would you go for if you were going to go for a player under 7? What would be the player? I mean, there's a shout for Walcott. I don't. Problem with Gundogan is he doesn't play that often. If we look at him, he's only getting substitute appearances in the last 3 fixtures, and then he obviously got subbed off after the 68th minute in the last game. Who else have we got that we could put in? Lucas Moura is too expensive. Yeah, maybe the option is to take Mitrovic and instead of Lacazette up front. Who would you go for? Would you go for Lacazette or would you go for Mitrovic up front? because obviously that would be... Oh, okay, so yeah, that's a good point actually. Akil has just made a suggestion that we could have Vardy instead of Lacazette. Actually, let's have a look at that. That's a really good... I didn't think of Vardy, especially with Leicester's fixtures coming up. That is a really good shout. Let's have a look at see Vardy. Is that not... Oh no, this is on midfielders. Let's go on to forwards. Let's have a look. How much is Vardy worth? There he is. Okay, 8.9 instead of Lacazette. Let's put Vardy in, see. Oh, that would actually make the team 0. That would actually work perfectly. Oh, but do I go with 2 Leicester strikers up front with Iheanacho and Vardy? I don't know if that would be a good idea. I definitely want to keep Maddison and Vardy actually. Yeah, that would be really good. And let's have a look at Vardy's stats. If he didn't get flipping red carded, I think it was for a headbutt. I don't know why he did that. His stats, I bet his scoring would be much bigger. So goal and assist last game. Goal in his first game against Man United. That's a good shout actually. I think Vardy is a very good call. Thanks for that suggestion, Akil. So yeah, this actually looks quite like a good team. I mean, I don't know how I'd play with this. I think there would be a lot of rotation every week would be needed. Let me see in terms of strikers. And okay, let's have a look. 5.9. Let's see what we can get for 5.9. Ings, Jimenez, and Vieto. They would be the 3 top players currently in the EPL. Ings is a backup option. It could be a good shout. Because if we look at that, Ings, yeah, he didn't play last game. Does anyone know why he didn't play? Anyone know why Ings didn't play in the last game? I'd be interested to know why. But apart from that, he's played pretty much. Apart from the first game, and I'm guessing he didn't play that because he was just getting transferred from Liverpool. 90 minutes, 68 minutes, 77, 83, and then nothing in the last game. That's strange. Let's have a look. Ings or Jimenez. Jimenez could be a good shout. Let's have a look at Jimenez's stats. Yeah, I agree. Maybe not 2 Leicester strikers. I think it's relying too much on Leicester there. But I definitely think that Maddison and Vardy. I think with the fixtures that Leicester have got coming up, it's definitely got to be a player that you put into your players that you put into your team. Okay, let's have a look at. I've only got. That's a good point. The worry I have with putting a Liverpool player in my midfield is with their fixtures coming up. I'm a bit worried about that. So let's have a look at the midfielders. If I was to take Bernardo Silva out, for example, who would I? Let's go on to Liverpool. Let's go up to 7.9. So who could I put in the midfield from Liverpool? You've got Milner, because he's taken penalties for Liverpool this season. Milner, he could potentially go into the midfield. Let's see. Milner at 5.7, that would then leave me 7.7 for another striker. I think if I was to put... has Milner started every game for Liverpool? Okay, he got substituted. Well, he must have got substituted in the last game. It'd be interesting to see what that was for. But apart from that, he's 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 66 minutes, 45 minutes. He's playing loads for Liverpool, and he is getting a decent amount of points considering his price of 5.7. If I was to do that, then that would mean that I would go for a more expensive striker with 7.7 to play with. Then that would put Mitrovic in easily, and that would leave me with 7 in the bank. So that would mean I'd have 6.4 if I didn't want to have Milner in my team in the midfield. Let's see what I can get for 6.4. Let's see. Oh, 6.4. Okay, so the options for 6.4 is Pereira, Gundogan. I've already got Fraser in the team there because they have got a nice run of fixtures coming up. Moutinho could be a good call in midfield actually, because Moutinho he's in all of the midfielders in Wolves. He's the one who's got the most attacking threat. He's playing every single game. Got a goal against Man United. That's a point. So if I could put Moutinho in the team, that wouldn't be a bad option as like a kind of. Let's have a look what that looks like. That leaves me one in the bank then. Yeah, that. I don't know. Let me know. Would you go with Aguero, Vardy, Mitrovic on the current? Let's see the form of Fulham, the fixture. Sorry, of Fulham. Everton away, Arsenal at home, Cardiff away, Bournemouth at home, Huddersfield away, and then Liverpool away, Southampton at home. Yeah, Fulham's they haven't really got a nice patch coming. They're kind of just all in and out. So that would be something where you can mix them up. I don't know. Mitrovic, Vardy, and Aguero strikers. I'm quite liking that. That seems like quite a good pairing for me. I can't really. I don't know. Would I put Milner in instead of? And then there's Pereira at Watford. Let's have a look at Watford's. There's a shout for Pereira as well, because after Arsenal, which they, like they've always got a chance to score against Arsenal. Arsenal leak goals, unfortunately. Being an Arsenal supporter, that's obviously not very nice for me. But Bournemouth, Wolves, Huddersfield, Newcastle, Southampton. That's a really nice fixtures coming up for Watford. That could be a good shout to put Pereira in actually into the starting lineup, just because of those fixtures that are coming up for Watford. But then the problem is that that's me just got rid of Salah. That's me not got any Liverpool midfielder in my team, which I'm a bit worried about. So I definitely want to keep Maddison, Hazard and Richarlison. If I was to put Salah in that team, then I think that I'd have to get rid of Mitrovic. And then Pereira and Fraser, I'd have to just get rubbish players in the midfield, which I don't really want to do, to put Salah in. Let's have a look. Do I put Salah in or do I not put Salah in? What a tough decision. Let's have a look at their fixtures. And the problem is if you don't have Salah in after Arsenal, then you've got Huddersfield, Cardiff, Fulham, Watford, Everton, Burnley. Yeah, that's the point. Is Hazard or Salah more important? Judging by this season, you need to consider that Hazard in the first 2 games of the season, he only came on for like 20 minutes. Let's have a look at his 14 minutes first game, 29 minutes the second game, and after that his point tally has been phenomenal. I mean, the last game he failed because West Ham basically defended with 6 men behind the ball most of the game, but it's just as it stands, in my opinion, Hazard is more essential in your team than Salah, and like I saw in a comment that Mane is currently firing blanks, so I don't know. And my problem is if I take Salah out, trying to fit him back in the team, that's going to be the hardest thing. But my thinking is that you can replace the kind of points that Salah might make in one game, like one fluke game if he gets like 2 goals and assists, for example. I think in the long run, with the other players in the team, they're going to be making up those points anyway. So I think that I might take this risk and leave Salah out. So let's have a look at this. Hennessy in goal, Hart in goal. And I'll be doing rotation depending on the fixtures of that. And then Trippier, Robertson and Alonso obviously are the main kind of 3 defenders now that Mendy is injured. They're the main kind of sort of the ones you're thinking about putting in your team. Wan-Bissaka is the kind of, I think he needs to be in your team as well. Doherty, he's an attacking player for Wolves, and also, as I mentioned earlier, their fixtures look really nice in the 4 next games. And then obviously when Spurs and Arsenal fixtures come up, then you just obviously take them on your bench. And then we have got Spurs, Arsenal, and then Huddersfield, Cardiff. I mean, yeah, I think Doherty is definitely a player you could have in your team, especially for 4.4 million. Let's have a look at Fraser's fixtures with Bournemouth one more time. Yep, next 4 games looking very nice. Pretty hard run after that from game week 11 onwards, but I still think that, yeah, I think that Fraser's got to be in the team. He had a bit of an off week, but yeah. Have I considered Alexander-Arnold? I actually had Alexander-Arnold in my team for the first 3 game weeks, and I kind of lost patience with him because I saw Robertson getting loads of points, and I was, yeah, like he was getting clean sheets, that's for sure, but here's the thing with Alexander-Arnold, like, I really like the play, he's a great player, I really do want him in my team, but here's the thing, like, if you've got Alonso, Trippier and Robertson, then you can easily swap him in because he is worth like 1 million less. What is his current value? His current value is... He's currently valued at 5.1, so you've got a direct swap with Trippier, you've got a 0.1 plus game with Robertson and then a massive game with Alonso, but I can't see Alonso not being in my team for the rest of the EPL season. So yeah, the reason I've done this is that, yeah, I really do like Alexander-Arnold, but I just think with the Liverpool's fixtures coming up soon, then it's better just to keep him out, and then it's an easy swap for him in later on in maybe like 3 game week time or 4 game week time. What do I do in terms of... I don't know, I'm pretty happy with that team, to be honest, and I think that Vardy and Maddison, considering the next game weeks coming up, is a must. Hazard is the on-form player in EPL right now. He's the one that's on everyone's talking about. Everton have got 3 easy fixtures away to Man United, but that doesn't look too bad of a game because, you know, Man United are hit and miss recently. So Pereira, Watford, as I showed just before, really nice games. Let's see Man City's fixtures. I haven't got that many. Yeah, I've not got many. Aguero, Brighton at home. Could be a call for a captain, Aguero, in the next game if they've got Brighton at home. Then you've got Liverpool away, which will obviously be a very tough game, but probably be a high-scoring game. I think like 5-4 last season and 4-4, stuff like that. So that's not necessarily a bad thing having Aguero in your team against Liverpool because he's not going to be affected by a clean sheet. Burnley at home, Spurs away, Southampton at home, Man United at home. It's not a good patch. It's kind of in and out. Aguero's got to be in my team, in my opinion. And you've got Mitrovic, who's the star, kind of lower, kind of just promoted team player, and Vardy. I'm happy with that. I think I'm really happy with that team. I think that's going to do pretty well in the next coming weeks. And I have got the option to bring in, for example, someone like Alexander-Arnold or other players in the midfield that are slightly cheaper. The only problem with this is I am risking getting rid of Salah, and then trying to get Salah back into this team would be really, really difficult. That would mean then having to take out Hazard probably, and I don't know. I think for now, considering the form, I think Hazard is going to be the player in my team compared to Salah, and I just think that I can get so much more value with the points that Salah's worth by taking him out. And for example, now I have got two strikers with Vardy and Mitrovic. And I've got obviously Maddison and Richarlison both being in the team as well. Okay, I'm still not convinced with Pereira. That's the only doubt I have right now. Let's have a look at the midfielders again. Let's have a look at the midfielders, and I've got 6.3 to play with. So you've got Milner. That's the only player that I would think that you could possibly put into that team, and who would actually do some good damage in terms of points. Okay, so if you had to pick, who would you go with? Would you go with Pereira? Would you go with Milner? Would you go for Moutinho from Wolves? He's a pretty good shout. You've got Gundogan at Man City. Wijnaldum as well from Liverpool, but I don't think that he's going to get that many points. I don't know. Who would you go for? Would you go for Pereira, Milner, or Moutinho? I'm going to look at this one more time. Let's have a look. So Pereira, last 3 games only just got 2 points, but that was against Tottenham, Man United, and away to Fulham, which is not obviously an easy game. Fixtures, Arsenal away, but easy to score, so I think that that's not going to be too much of a problem. And then Bournemouth, Wolves, Huddersfield, Newcastle, Southampton. I think just because of the fixtures, I think I would go with Pereira. And then Moutinho. Let's have a look at Wolves one more time. Oh, Wolves have got really four really easy fixtures in the next 4 game weeks. Right, okay, so Pereira or Moutinho. I think that's going to be the decision. Do I go for Pereira or Moutinho? What a tough decision. I don't know what I'm going to base this off. I think that I need to go away and decide one last time. Who would you go for? Let me know quickly in the comments. Please let me know. Who would you go for? Would you go for Pereira, or would you go for Milner, or would you go for Moutinho? Okay, so Aku, as I said, a Liverpool player considering their fixtures in 2 to 3 weeks' time. Let's have a look one more time at their fixtures. So Chelsea, obviously, Man City is difficult. Next 2 games. Huddersfield away, Cardiff at home, Arsenal away, and you're guaranteed they're going to score goals in that game against Arsenal away. Fulham, Watford, Everton, Burnley, Bournemouth. Yeah, you have a point. You definitely have a point of putting Milner in the team because you think that they've got more opportunity to get points as a whole team, and you think that Milner, if he gets some penalties or whatever, then he's going to be taking them and getting the goals. Well, okay, so let's see if I put Milner in my team, then where does that leave me? That leaves me with 0.7 in the bank. Okay, if I have 0.7 in the bank, then yeah, I mean, that looks like a pretty good team actually, and that would give me 0.7 in the bank. So if I wanted to make a substitution later on in the game weeks, then that would leave me a lot of leeway in terms of pricing of the players. Do I do it? Is this it? Is this the team that I want to go for? So let's do a quick roundup. So Hennessy in goal with Hart, obviously, as a kind of rotation that I'll be doing, because the keepers right now, even though the top sort of the De Gea's and your Emerson and Alisson, they are getting points, that's for sure, with their teams. But I think that the smaller club goalkeepers are getting much better points. So a rotation system is looking the best option this EPL season so far. I mean, just look at Fabianski the other day for West Ham. He got so many points. Trippier. Then Robertson and Alonso will probably be players that I'll be trying to keep in my team permanently. I'll probably try and bring Mendy in later on if he does come back from his injury. I'm not entirely sure who I bring in, but I mean, if I do have that 0.7 in the bank, then that means that it would just be a straight swap for Robertson or Trippier, for example. Be interesting to see how Doherty does for Wolves in the next couple of game weeks, but I think Wan-Bissaka is definitely going to be a keeper in my team. So, pretty happy with my defence. Let's have a look at the midfield. We've got Hazard. He's the informed player in the EPL right now. Obviously didn't do very well against West Ham, but I think that was a one-off. I think that you'll see him bounce back very soon. He is a big game player. So with the big fixtures coming up against, I think it was Liverpool and Man United, he does turn up to the big games. He is a big game player. He loves the big games and gets lots of points. So definitely think about Hazard. Richarlison and Maddison. Maddison because of Leicester's fixtures and he is on form. Richarlison because I just think that he is a great player and I think that he's pivotal to Everton. When he plays for Everton, Everton play much better. So that's why I think I'm going to put Richarlison in my team. Fraser, he's the underdog of the midfield for this season. Already got a phenomenal amount of points. So he's already got 41 points total. Last game was a fluke with them losing 4-0 to Burnley, but I think he's kind of running that midfield for Bournemouth. He's got a really bright future. I think he's Scottish, so I think that he's really good for the Scotland national team. They need some new players, new influx of players, because their national team's gone downhill in recent years. Unfortunate, I'm actually half Scottish, so I kind of keep an eye on the Scottish football. So Milner as well, yeah. So Milner in the midfield. Was a mix-up between Pereira, but I tell you what, actually, if Milner doesn't perform next game week, for example, then it would be a straight swap for Pereira for Watford, considering that Watford's fixtures after next game week look very nice. After Arsenal, because they've got those kind of from game week 8 till game week 12, really nice fixtures for Watford. There is a possibility for them to get back on track, potentially go towards the top of the top 6 again, and fight with the big boys. So yeah, so I think Milner for now. If it doesn't work out, then I can do a straight swap for Pereira after next game week after they've played Arsenal. And then up front, Vardy is a player who's on form. Hopefully doesn't go headbutt someone again and get a red card and then get suspended. That would obviously be a nightmare. But he's the on-form player for the kind of mid-table clubs. And yeah, I think it would be a toss-up between him and Lacazette. If we look at Lacazette's stats, if I can get the price right. So with Lacazette, let's have a look. His price tag's 9.4, so if I was to put Lacazette in, then I would be losing a bit of that leeway in terms of if I want to make transfers in the future. But yeah, I think Vardy, he's the player on form. I think he's going to be the one that's more likely to get you some points, especially considering Leicester's upcoming fixtures. And then Mitrovic, who is just, compared to when he was at Newcastle, I don't know how long you guys have been watching the EPL, but since his days at Newcastle, he was terrible at Newcastle. I used to live in Newcastle, and I used to go and watch the games when Arsenal were up there, and a couple of the kind of like cup games. And yeah, he just didn't seem to click there. But since he's been at Fulham, the manager seems to have got the tactics for him, and he just seems to wants to keep scoring. He's doing so well, and yeah, I think even as a third striker in your FPL team, that gives you the option that if you don't think he's going to do well, then you can take him out and leave him on the bench. But I think, yeah, he's definitely an option up front. So Vardy, Mitrovic, and then of course Aguero. So my next question then to myself was, if this is going to be my team, then who would I go for captain? Who's going to be the most likely people that are going to be captain? And the two obvious choices is Aguero and Hazard. They're the players that are going to probably get you the most points in the near future. But I'm going to suggest this, and I saw it on Twitter. Someone suggested this and made a really good case. What about a defender as your captain? It's almost unheard of. No one does their captains as defenders because it's just too much of a risk, as their main points do come from clean sheets. But if you'd have had Alonso as your captain, then that would have got you more points than Salah as your captain. That would have got you more points than Mane as your captain. That would have got you more points than Aguero as your captain. So there's a real case for having someone like Alonso as your captain, especially if Chelsea run into some nice fixtures. So as soon as Chelsea, for example, play Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home, Everton at home, there is a real case for him being your captain. I know it's a massive, massive risk, but someone made a really good case for this on Twitter, and I was quite interested to see what they were saying. And yeah, so right now, Aguero, Hazard captains, and Alonso potentially as a captain if there's a really nice game week for Chelsea. I think that's an option. Akil said, thinking of using my wildcard. Wow, so you're currently 30k in the world. That's really good. My last couple of game weeks, I didn't make the right substitutions, and I've slipped crazily down the rank, which is really annoying. All right, let's have a look at your team. So you've got Alisson, Alonso, Azpilicueta. What's your opinion on Azpilicueta? I think that he does get points. He is a good player, that's undoubtedly. But I just think that if you're going to have, I don't know, is Azpilicueta... What's his cost? He's currently 6.4. Do you not think that you'll get more out of having Trippier in your team for considering Trippier is 6.1? Because for example, last season Eriksen was the free kick taker, and he was also the corner taker for Tottenham. But this season Trippier seems to be doing it all after his World Cup, where he was, he scored a lot of free kicks and he was pinnacle for a lot of the set pieces for England. I think that Trippier could be a better shout than Azpilicueta, because Azpilicueta doesn't take any corners or anything like that. So I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Mendy. Alright, so you're going to stick with Mendy then. I guess that sticking... I just think that when it says on it that it does an unknown date of coming back, I searched on some news as well about Mendy's return, if anyone knew exactly. And the problem with Mendy is they said it was a knee injury, then they said it was an ankle injury, then they said it was a toe injury. And every news article I read, I wasn't really too sure. There was no defined opinion on what his injury was. So I would say, for considering his cost, it's a bit of a risk to keep Mendy, because he's going to keep getting transferred out and out. Like, I'm going to be transferring him out today, and the amount of other players that are doing that, his cost is going to keep going down. So you might lose some value in your team. Then let's have a look at your other team. You got Maddison. So you want to? Oh, you got Lascelles. Yeah, potentially. Newcastle on the day, he could get you points. Maddison, Salah, Bernardo, Kante, Neves, Zaha, King, Aguero. I'd say it's a really good team, but I think Zaha, if you look at his stats, yeah, he's really important for Crystal Palace, but I just don't think that he gets enough overall points. I would rather have Mitrovic in my team compared to Zaha. And my thoughts on Neves. Here's my thing with Neves, right? I think that if we look at his cost, He's currently worth 5.1, I'm pretty sure. Let's go on to the midfielders, and he is Wolves. Okay, so if we look at the midfielders, Neves is 5.2 and he got 22 points so far this season. But Moutinho, he's the attacking midfielder in the kind of three that Wolves play. So I would actually go for Moutinho in my team. If you can find the extra 0.2 million that you need to put him in your team, I would go with Moutinho. He's currently got 26 points compared to Neves' 22, and he looks like a really dangerous player in the midfield. I really like Moutinho. He's a good player, so I would think about maybe taking Neves out of that team, and I'd also think about taking Saha out. But apart from that, the team looks really good, and you still have Saha. I mean, I could be making a massive mistake by taking Saha out of my team. So, yeah. Anyway, I think this is it. I think this is the final team I'm going to go with. So, final cap: Hennessy, Hart, Trippier, Doherty, Wan-Bissaka, Robertson, Alonso, Milner, Maddison, Hazard, Richarlison, Fraser, Aguero, Vardy and Mitrovic. I think that is the team I'm going to go with. I think I'm pretty dead set on that. The reason that I like this team is that you're not relying on a first 11. There's a lot of sort of changing that can be made, and a lot of points that can be made from different sort of fixtures depending on the game week, which is a problem that I've had in previous game weeks where I've had like 2 players on the bench that have got no playing time or no chance of getting any points, which gives you a massive dilemma when you've got game weeks where your starting 11 have got like difficult games or you don't think they're going to get many points. So the reason I've gone with this one is because I've kind of lapped behind in the rankings and against in the leagues as well in the last couple of game weeks because I haven't had the substitutability of my team. So now with this team, I think that it looks pretty good. I think that yeah, every single player in that starting 11 can be substituted out for another player, and I think that that player will be starting, for example, and will be getting potential points. So I think that's it. I think I'm dead set on this team, and I think that this is it. I think that it's time for me to play my wild card. And if you obviously, if you're watching the stream afterwards and you have any suggestions about your wild card and what you think that you might be playing, just suggest your team in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you and give you my opinion on those kind of teams that you're thinking about putting your wild card. And also, obviously, yeah. So, you know, if you like this video, thumbs up, help me out a lot. And yeah, so let's play my wild card. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, I need to. Yeah, okay. So I need to make transfers. Sorry. Okay. Okay, here we go. Confirm transfer and play wildcard. Boom, there it is. So I've officially played my wildcard. So I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I'm sorry about the audio at the beginning. I don't know why it wasn't working. That was a bit annoying. And there it is. There's my new team. So actually, I think I'm going to... Yeah, so I'm going to make a video which will suggest my starting 11 for... round 7. Obviously these are the fixtures coming up in game week 7. So watch out for a video that I'll be releasing on probably on Friday, which will be suggesting my team based off of this team that I've just done for my wild card. Before I go, let's okay, Finn has suggested about a team with Edison, Robertson, Tarkowski, Wan-Bissaka, Mendy, Hazard, Mane, Fraser, Richarlison, Aguero and Saha. If you missed the start of the stream, Finn, then my suggestion would be something that Akil said as well, that having Edison in your team as your keeper, he will get you points because he will get clean sheets, but the problem is that he's not getting many saves. Like Man City rarely concede any shots on goal, so I would say maybe trying to get in kind of some lower players, like so for example Hennessy. He's a good shout as a keeper instead of Edison. I do understand why you'd want to put Edison in because of the clean sheets, but because of like the lack of saves, he doesn't really pick up any points because of that. So you've got the option of someone like Hart, or you've got the option of someone like Hennessy, and then Mendy, maybe trying to get Mendy out temporarily for someone like Trippier, because his cost is going down, Mendy currently, and you're losing value in your team, whereas Trippier is playing still for Tottenham and obviously keeping his value. So obviously they're kind of similar prices, so just later, just when Mendy's back from his injury, just swap them back in. And let's have a look.
Aguero up front is good. Richarlison in midfield, great. Fraser, good. Barney, Hazard. Yeah, I mean, your midfield looks really good, to be honest. And I think if you have the money, I would try and get Zaha out for Vardy or for Mitrovic. So if I just do a kind of mock-up team of what I think I'll be doing, I think I'll be putting Robertson in for... No, actually, let's put Mitrovic in for... I think maybe Milner, because they have got Chelsea on the weekend, Liverpool. This, for example, this would be a kind of potentially a team that I'll be picking for the weekend, because I'm a bit worried about Robertson and playing Chelsea away from home, and Milner as well. So I think that if you can get someone like Mitrovic or Vardy in instead of Zaha, I think that would probably be better. In my opinion, Vardy, because his fixtures look amazing coming up in the near future. So apart from that, let's have a look. Yeah, so apart from that, Finn, I think the team looks really good. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to end the stream now. It's getting quite late where I live. I live in South Korea and it's almost it's my bedtime. So thanks very much for watching the stream, guys. And I will be uploading videos like this in the near future. So obviously, if you did like this video, obviously please a massive thumbs up to help the channel. That'd be great. If this is your first time ever coming to an FPL first video, obviously, if you want to see more content like this, I do upload loads of videos on previews, reviews of the EPL and FPL. If that interests you, then consider subscribing and for future content. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. My name is Joe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.